how many did that and consulted their constituents to determine whether or not they should, in effect, get a total of anywhere between 5 and 6 months' salary if they are not re-elected or they choose not to run in the next General Assembly. That is serious. It is so serious to the extent that here we are in the Cayman Islands in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic, where people are unemployed, and yes, the government is doing their best to assist those persons who are unemployed financially, to assist them. But should legislators, should parliamentarians be given, if that is the case, be given such a long leash, such what in the corporate world is called a golden parachute. Golden parachute, you know, if you're a paratrooper, if you're involved in recreational skydiving or parachuting, a golden parachute is the best that you can get in the corporate world. Should our legislators be given that, especially in this time? And for those who claim, who take the high road and claim that they want to consult their constituents before making decisions, I ask you as constituents, how many of you were consulted on this move as well? So many things that we will talk about. First, I will give you the latest update that I have in relation to the COVID-19 testing, and that was on the 8th of January of this year. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reported that 199 COVID-19 tests were carried out since it was last reported on Thursday, the 7th of January. All were negative. The number of persons in isolation, either at a government facility or in their homes as required by the Medical Officer for Health, is 1,193 to date. A total, that is, on the 8th of January, a total of 1,076 persons had received the COVID-19 vaccination. And we want to talk about COVID-19 vaccination as well. But I just want to throw something out there and put a line in the sand for those of you who may call in. If you're calling in about the COVID-19 vaccine, and if you're an expert, a vaccine expert or a medical expert who knows about the vaccines, then I will be more than happy to hear your views or to engage with you as far as the efficacy of the vaccines that are out there. If you are not, and you have your personal opinion as to whether or not you will take that vaccine, then fine. I want to hear from you about that. But I don't want anyone to call in trying to sway the public in terms of negative aspects in relation to getting the vaccine, because we want to encourage those persons who feel that they should get the vaccine to do so. We all know at this point in time there is no cure in place for COVID-19, but we know what vaccines can do because, we're not walking in the dark. We've had hundreds of years of the use of various vaccines throughout the world. With that, we will take a commercial break. Remember, the phone lines are open. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Joseph James Anglin, 1899-1982.
Captain Joseph James Anglin was a sea captain who sailed to the Mosquito Keys, Nicaragua, Cuba, and Tampa, Florida. Married to Alvis Christina Chrissy Ebanks and the father of 12 children, he was a God-fearing Christian and a preacher in church. Known as a good neighbor, he helped to build a strong community.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Rotary. We've been part of the beginnings, the then and now of the Francis Bodden Girls Home in Bodden Town and the Bonaventure Boys Home in the West Bay. Rotary Central, along with community partners assisting students to overcome barriers on their path of learning during this pandemic, thousands of dollars in laptops. Support for the annual Rotary Island-wide health check and diabetes training by Rotary. The National Blood Bank, supported by Rotary since 1999. Lives saved, lives restored. Just a little of what we've done and continue to do. Rotary opens opportunities.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Happy New Year and happy new SUV to you from Vant Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vant Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. 122 Industrial Way, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers and stay prepared. 949-2511. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
No, man. My bills seem huge again, and I don't know what to do about it. I gotta look some help.
We can help. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure has teamed up with CUC to give you the chance to win a home energy makeover worth up to $20,000. Not only will this lower your utility bills, it will increase your home's value. We are also giving away 8 home energy audits worth up to $1,900 each. Open to all homeowners in Grand Cayman. Entry is now open via www.energy.gov.ky/competition. Proudly sponsored by CEL Cooling, Mitsubishi, Phone Pros, Cooling Pros, and more. Use less, save more. Enter today.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop in to any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Today is the first day of the show for 2021. I believe we do have a caller on hold, Miss Susan. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. See, how you doing? How was the Christmas?
My Christmas was fine. Very quiet. Spent a lot of time at home. Had several projects going on in the yard. So got lots of things done. And you, how was yours?
Quiet, same in. Thankful that I'm alive. Glad to know that I'm living in the Cayman Islands, and as big as the world is, I think this is the best place in the world to be. I just want to, commend the government for all what they did last year through this shutdown and what they continue doing. But we're just a few months away from election.
Mm-hmm.
And Jose, the Cayman don't have a real, public television station. I don't know what happened, because the part where that so much things local is happening, I know we got the government television station, and they do a pretty good job, but only with certain things. And I'm wondering what's happening with us that we can't get another television station. I mean, for the poor people, Cayman 27 was up to date and up on top of the mountain with everything for the local people. Mm-hmm. And we're in an election year here. The candidates is very quiet, and so much. I really don't know. Maybe you could answer the questions for me, or
yeah. Well, I think, caller, I think that from its inception, television in the Cayman Islands was viewed as a risky commercial venture. Whether or not the population was large enough to support it. We all know that the cost of living in the Cayman Islands is high. We know that the cost of doing business in the Cayman Islands is extremely high as well. Unfortunately, because we still have a older population in the Cayman Islands, not as many as we would like are tuning on social media, because there are so many other platforms that you see people using these days in lieu of television, and much cheaper, I should say, and as well. You don't have to pay that subscription fee every month for it. So maybe we need to look to transitioning, having the older members of our population transition to that. But I think the commercial viability of television in the Cayman Islands is one of the challenges. Now, of course, you mentioned the fact that we do have the government television station, and there are those who question whether or not the government should have as much control over the airwaves as they do, and have as much control over the information that is put out there. Of course, government television puts out the information in relation to what the government is doing as well.
Yeah, but there is people, there is companies here that could establish a television station. Like you said, there's other medias and things to go through. They got a lot of YouTube or a lot of stuff, but there are a lot of elderly people that knows nothing at all about that kind of thing, Mr. Connor.
True.
And they are they're retired, they're home, the only entertainment they got is their TV, and some of them, they can't afford it, and and their children is gone to work and they're home by themselves or just with a helper. And all their, I talk to friends that say all they do is sit down all day in front of the TV mostly, you know, and stuff like that to keep them going. But I mean,
well, from a health perspective, sitting in front of the TV too long isn't all that great as well. I would encourage people to do more. Get out there in the yard, do some exercising. If you have a garden, of course, you have to tend to it. If you don't have one, you may want to look, towards that. And of course, stay tuned to Radio Cayman.
Oh yeah. I thank God every day for Radio Cayman because they're not shutting down or anything, and they keep you informed. I praise God for that and the team there. But even the other station that they got it that's shut down now and that's a mess. Nobody I'm calling that. More listening to that. But the part of that, Mr. Connor, too, I mean, election time, and you see the mess over in the U.S. But when I'm here of just a very few people, candidates are deciding to run, we need, unless you can just keep what we got and just be satisfied with it.
But caller, and I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, remember now, we are now broken up into constituencies, right? 19 single-member constituencies. And the elections in the Cayman Islands are not national elections. They're based on the constituencies. So whereas I may live in Bordentown West, I'm not too sure that I have an interest in the person who is running in Georgetown North or wherever, because it doesn't necessarily affect me because I can't vote for them. So to a certain extent, when it comes to elections and televising that part of it, I don't really see the getting the full potential out of it. You have about 1 minute before we have to go to our news.
One more question, and maybe you can investigate this me. I don't know. I'm just trying to find out. If a politician is from East End, can they run anywhere else in the island, or only East End?
Okay, here's the rule. If you're a voter, you can register. You have to register in the district or the constituency that you live in if you're a voter, and you can only vote in that district. If you're running for office, you're not required to be a resident or to live in the district that you want to run for office. You can run for anywhere. So if you live in Georgetown, you can run for one of the constituents in West Bay and vice versa.
That's my problem there. So why can't the public, why can't I go to West Bay or North Side and vote? If the candidates can run in as part of the island, you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah, well, one of the, what you're sort of leading to there is, should we have national elections, and should every candidate or every office holder in the parliament be elected on a national level rather than a constituents level as well? Okay, but sorry, we have to break off there because we do have the 8 o'clock news. I believe we had a caller on hold, and I promise all callers that we will take those calls when we return. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
At Foster's, you'll always find the biggest weekly specials so you can save on your groceries.
That's right. And this week you'll find Breyer's ice cream, 48 ounce, just $4.99 each, save $3.
We also have Crestscope Outlast mouthwash for just $3.99, save $2.30.
And Welch's juices, 59 ounce, 2 for $5. Price is good until 20th January 2021.
You'll find even more great specials in store or by visiting fosters.ky. Foster's, better prices because we care.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Returning travelers to Cayman are still, quote, the greatest risk, according to the governor.
I encourage all returning travelers to follow closely all the guidelines around self-isolation and quarantine, because it is so important for the health of everyone on these islands. So far, we are managing this extremely well, and I want to thank the Deputy Governor, Dr. Tasha Ebanks, and Travel Cayman, who are doing an outstanding job around the clock to keep us all safe.
Governor Roper says the system in place is working, and Cayman should be proud with where we are as a country in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to isolation measures and testing, you can also consider the vaccine. Now, some people are asking if you have allergies, is it safe to take the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine? Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins reports.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee explains if you have an identified allergy, the vaccine is safe.
The MHRA now advises that people with a history of anaphylaxis to food, an identified drug or vaccine, or an insect sting can receive the COVID-19 vaccine, as long as they are not known to be allergic to a component of the vaccine. The components for the Pfizer vaccine are available on the website. They're largely chemical-based. They don't have egg, for example, in them.
But this does not apply for those with unidentified allergens.
The British Society for Allergy and Clinical Immunology, respected organisation, have advised that individuals with a history of immediate onset anaphylaxis to multiple classes of drugs or an unexplained anaphylaxis should not be vaccinated with the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, and the AstraZeneca vaccine can be used as an alternative if not otherwise contraindicated.
Speaking to your healthcare providers is the best choice if you have concerns.
For any individual, it's really important that you would speak to your own healthcare practitioner before you go forward if you have any queries, and then again with the relevant healthcare professional who'll be providing your vaccine at the time, who will all know the information because that's part of their training.
16 million people worldwide have received vaccinations. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Dr. Lee adds to keep in mind that allergic reactions are likely to happen at the time or very shortly after the exposure to the allergen. 14 young Caymanians are in the spotlight as the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands, in partnership with the Youth Services Unit, celebrates the 2020 Proud of Them honorees at a gala held last Thursday. The Proud of Them program aims to celebrate the success of young ambassadors and let them be an inspiration to others by publicly recognizing positive achievements in the fields of sports, academics, business culture, community service, and careers. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. A decision by the United States to remove long-standing restrictions on official contacts with Taiwan has been angrily condemned by China. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman said Beijing would resist any attempts to sabotage its interests. China considers Taiwan to be part of its own territory. Facebook has shut down the accounts of many Ugandan government officials, accusing them of trying to manipulate public debate ahead of a presidential election on Thursday. President Museveni is being challenged by the former pop star Bobi Wine. Parler, the social networking app popular with Donald Trump supporters, has gone offline after Amazon withdrew web hosting services. Google and Apple have also taken action. all accuse Parler of failing to prevent violent content being shared. Pope Francis has officially changed the rules of the Roman Catholic Church to allow women to play a greater role. They'll now be allowed to administer communion and read the gospel at services. In practice, the duties are already being carried out by women in many parts of the world. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has approved plans to build 800 new homes for settlers in the occupied West Bank. The Palestinians condemn any Israeli settlement activity in the West Bank, which has been under Israeli occupation since 1967. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Rotary. We've been part of the beginnings, the then and now of the Francis Bodden Girls' Home in Bodden Town and the Bonaventure Boys' Home in the West Bay. Rotary Central, along with community partners, assisting students to overcome barriers on their path of learning during this pandemic. Thousands of dollars in laptops. Support for the annual Rotary Island-wide health check and diabetes training by Rotary. The National Blood Bank, supported by Rotary since 1999. Lives saved, lives restored. Just a little of what we've done and continue to do. Rotary opens opportunities.
Does 2020 have you thinking about making some changes in your life? Maybe you're considering a new job or career, or going back to school, taking a short course, perhaps starting your own business. Skills for Life can help. Skills for Life is a government initiative that highlights various training and learning opportunities available for Caymanians to retool, upskill, advance, and access what you need to succeed in the workplace. Want more information? Visit our website, gov.ky/skills for life today. That's a good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 77 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. The barometric pressure is 30.06 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east-northeast at 12 knots. Overnight low temperature was 75 degrees. Synopsis indicate fresh northeasterly winds and rough seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a high-pressure system moves over the western Atlantic Ocean. Further east, remnant cloudiness and showers associated with a dissipated frontal boundary will retrogress across the area today, supporting patchy cloudiness and isolated showers. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the low 80s. Your winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open water for today and tonight as well. Now the forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures falling to the low 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 3 minutes after 9, low tide this afternoon at 9 minutes past 3, and a high tide tonight at 12 minutes after 8. The sun will set this evening at 4 minutes after 6 and will rise tomorrow morning at 2 minutes past 7. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Wednesday morning.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look what's happening traffic-wise. Traffic is heavy on the Linford Pearson Highway. Slight delays expected as you're heading down to Georgetown. And busy traffic coming off the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way. As we look to Cool Road, steady in some sections, other sections busy. And traffic is moving on steadily. Coming from the Butterfield roundabout heading towards the Industrial Park area. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic is slowing moderately. Light to moderate traffic flow on Owen Roberts Drive. And as we look to Shedden Road, looking pretty good as traffic is flowing at a good pace. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. Calder Avenue, steady but flowing traffic. Now, if you see any accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. Have a good morning and buckle up.
You've come to love Subway's Eat Fresh menu. Let them bring it to you and cater your next important meeting or outing. From customized box lunches starting at just $6 to their famous platters, you'll love the taste and the price. Have Subway cater your next staff meeting, boat or beach outing, or birthday party. Their crowd-pleasing sandwich trays will do the trick, like the Fresh Fit platter or maybe the new double meat wrap platter. Subway has a platter to fit everybody's taste. And don't forget to add a cookie platter for dessert. Cater with Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Do you have an interest in fashion? Register now to UCCI's TVET Fashion Design Fundamental Course. Students will explore the world of color, produce creative fashion design concepts, and much, much more. Classes start on January 18th.
Register now on our website at connect.ucci.edu.ky/register/short courses.
Or visit us from January 6th to the 12th for face-to-face registration.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing, so come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the word of God, one community at a time.
Have you heard the call? We'll be at 135 School Road next to Rehoboth Church of Pastor McField, January 13th and 14th, 7:30 p.m.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. First show for the Record in the year 2021. Hope and I trust that everyone had an enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are still at home on vacation, we trust that you're doing well. We know that some schools, especially government schools, are not open until another week's time, I believe it is, as well. Also, I just want to clarify something with our listening audience. I have heard on other radio stations talk about Radio Cayman screening the callers when they call in. Just want to make it quite clear. Let me make it clear that we do not screen the calls to the extent of trying to identify who the caller is, but simply, and those of you who have called in to For the Record or even Talk Today or any other talk show on Radio Cayman will know exactly how you treat it as well. But no one ever asks, what your name is. So I just want to make that quite clear, because I believe that was that narrative was orchestrated simply to try to discourage some persons from calling in on the talk shows. But we don't screen anyone. Anyway, we do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you again, Mr. For the Record.
Morning, sir. Thanks. Thank you very much.
And Happy New Year to all of your listeners in For the Record land and all of those in the diaspora. I just want to say that you're true to form. You ask the hard questions, and you seek the right answers. The problem that I see with one of the most important things that you raised for 2021 is the salary for legislators who are no longer legislators.
Yes, sir.
Because once the parliament is prorogued, they are private citizens. They are no longer elected. They are private citizens. And I believe by convention only, the only people who are recognized as being still working is the cabinet. And I think that is by convention that they are still working, because they are part of the executive.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But those who are elected and sit in the legislature on a daily basis or on a sessional basis, once the parliament is prorogued, they become nobody. They become Mr. and Mrs. Private Citizens. And I do not understand why is it that they have given themselves this large amount of money when they are not working,
mm-hmm.
when they are not legislators anymore.
Yeah, well, Doc, Doc, I think it was understandable, and we learned a lesson after Hurricane Ivan. Remember when Hurricane Ivan struck in September of 2004, our election cycle that was then for the month of November, normally the first or second week in November.
Yeah.
We realized and we knew that after Hurricane Ivan, it was going to be practically impossible to hold elections in any sort of semi-normal way during that period. And we were faced with the challenge of decisions being made, not so much at that time by Executive Council, but because of the state of emergency, the governor basically had full control of the government and the islands, and legislators found that to be extremely difficult, unworkable, because the governor at that point in time was also involving more private citizens into the process, the decision-making process. And of course, we know that meetings with the recovery team and even cabinet to a certain extent were held on private property as
That's
well.
Right.
So I believe it was understandable that we needed to have some representation during that period. And they're only there if in the event that they recall. So it's almost equivalent to, let's say, a utility company or even a hospital, a medical facility, having a doctor or an employee on call in the event of an emergency. So I believe that part is understandable. What it seems has been introduced now is that if they decide that they're not going to run again, or if they run and they lose and they were an incumbent, that they get this 3-month salary. I'm not even sure that occurs in the private sector to a certain extent, unless you have a contractual agreement with your employer.
Exactly. That is awful. Bearing in mind that they are going to be entitled to their pensions too.
Yes.
On top of that, and looking at the situation now, where so many of their people and the constituencies are not working. And the only work that they have given them most is cleaning the streets, picking up garbage from the street, raking up the streets and cleaning sidewalks. I just cannot fathom that in my mind at all. that they will do that to their own people, and bearing in mind that the oath that they take to serve the Cayman Islands and so forth. I just cannot believe that. I would say that is what I expected in a banana republic, but not in the places like the Cayman Islands, where they're already making a large salary. And even I understand what you're saying, but in the first instance. But if they are recalled, they can be paid for the time that they spent in the legislature prorated to their salary.
Yeah, that's an option.
That should be how it but not to be paid their salary when they are private citizens and they're not elected anymore, and then after they decide the 3 months, and then after they decide not to run, they are going to get 3 months pay again.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Ori, that's wicked.
I know.
That is really cruel.
Yeah.
That's really bad, and I think that needs some in-depth discussion on your radio show. And I think some of them ought to come in to explain to the people how it is that they can conscionably take this money away from the treasury, from their own people, while a lot of the people that they represent do not have a place to sleep. They cannot pay their light bill. They cannot buy food. They cannot send their children to school, and so forth.
Yeah, and Doc, this almost went under the radar in the Legislative Assembly when this bill was being discussed as well. And one wonders that I didn't get an opportunity to listen to all of the debate because there were so many times when they adjourned and were due to resume at a certain time, but they never did. So there was some inconsistency on when they resumed, but I'm not sure that too much debate took place about this portion of the legislation. And one wonders whether or not this was one of the areas that both the opposition and the government side agreed on, why we didn't hear a whole lot about it.
Well, it had to be, Mr. For the record, because I have never heard one person, one legislator, one parliamentarian from either side come on the radio and say that they disagreed with it or discuss it. This is the first time I'm hearing it now is when I heard it from you.
Okay.
That's the first time I'm hearing it. And I think there ought to be some discussion about it. And like you said, you wonder if they did go to their constituencies and discuss this with their constituents, that they were taking this money from the treasury, even when they were not working and they were not elected, and so forth. That's the first thing I want to raise with you this morning.
Okay.
The second thing I want to raise with you this morning is that I'm happy to inform you that all of the effort we made, and thanks to you too for your platform, all the effort you made to recognize Captain Thomas Nelson Diaz. I was called yesterday and told that he is going to be recognized on the 25th of January at the Hero Square.
That is great news. That is great news, Doc.
And for all of these years, he's been forgotten by history and had lied dormant. And I haven't heard anything about the great late Leela Ross Shire.
Yes.
They have not said anything to me about that because I have been advocating that too. But I guess if there's any news about that, they would contact her family.
Okay. Well, we hope that occurs as well. That is long overdue.
I hope that occurs as well. And I got to thank you for the platform that you gave us to raise those issues and to vet them and to discuss them on your radio show. I just wish you all the best for 2021. And I see that as you said, nothing actually changes. It's from one day to the other. The only time it changes is the time and the date.
Yes.
And we still have the same problems. And the first thing you did when you came back was you brought those to the forefront to show that actually nothing changes and that it's just another day in another year, and the problem still continues to exist in our great little society.
Thank you very much, Doc.
I really thank you for that, and I really thank you for that. Even more so now that we don't have the other co-hosts, the other show, which sometimes I would be co-hosting, and your role now is going to be so much more important than it was before. To continue to speak to the issues and continue to speak the truth to power. And I really appreciate you coming back the way you did today. Very strong.
Thank you.
Thank you again, and thank all your listeners for supporting you.
Thank you very much, Doc, and I look forward to having more of these conversations with you, either on the telephone or in the studio as well. We do have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Your last caller referred to or used the term Banana Republic, and that's the only thing I want to comment on this morning.
Okay, sure.
The only difference, or the only thing that separates us from being a banana republic, is that we don't grow bananas, unfortunately. Other than that, we deserve the term.
Mm-hmm. To what extent? I mean, there are still some very good things about the Cayman Islands. Don't you think so, though, caller?
Oh, there are absolutely great things about the Cayman Islands, but when you use that terminology, it generally refers to governance.
Yes.
And in that regard, in my humble opinion, like I said, the only thing that separates us from being one of those, and we could say the same thing about the United States right now, too. The United States, we don't grow that particular crop, so maybe we need to come up with our own definition. But thank you.
So, caller, but before you go, though, how do we go about improving governance in the Cayman Islands? We're, we were about 4 months away from an election.
I really didn't call in to engage in a big discussion. I just wanted to get that little thing out there. General elections, we might as well go the full route of the Banana Republic and not even bother with those anymore. So.
But there are those persons that we do elect, or those persons who are standing for office. What level of accountability should we be holding them to?
Mr. Connor, the more things change, the more they remain the same.
Yes.
And I'll say you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, caller. Next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, my friend? Happy New Year.
Can't complain. Happy New Year, Mr. Wosi, I'll be brief. Give me 2 minutes.
Sure. Go right ahead.
Listen, with the general election, that the temperament, away, it's come from it, despite who the opposition will be or the government will be, they're always getting pressure, right?
Yep.
I vote every time, right?
Good for you.
Not, right? Let them run up. But when you see the same cycle, whoever getting, they give them the hell and pressure. So come from. So Mr. OC, it's all about political literacy. Or process. You slow it down. See? But everything gradually, and emerging geopolitically. So come from. So whenever, Mr. OC, first of all, I don't have no PhD. I don't know doctor of philosophy. You hear me? So nobody can handle this thing wrong here. You understand? With the Brexit, right? Not a proportion. And last year, now was a leap year, right? So politics, Mr. OC, it's driven by fear and emotions. But Mr. OC, before I let you go, I hope the opposition or the government be consistent in your show. A couple of weeks away. Okay? Have a good day, Mr. OC.
Thank you very much, caller. You have a great day as well. Before we go to a commercial break, I want to leave you with this one. The premier of the Turks and Caicos on Saturday at a public meeting announced that their elections will be held on the 19th of February of this year. Today's the 11th. She made that announcement on Saturday. That would be on the 9th. So a little bit over 1 month for elections to be held in the Turks and Caicos. Slightly smaller voting population than the Cayman Islands, smaller voting population. 2 British overseas territories, or some of our callers may say 2 British colonies. Rhetorical question again. Why can the Turks and Caicos Islands hold their elections in a space of 5 weeks And it takes us from March until May before we conduct our elections here in the Cayman Islands, and while at the same time we continue to pay our legislators during that period. We'll hope to hear from you when we return. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value. Integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
No, man. My bill seem huge again, and I don't know what to do about it. I gotta look some help.
We can help. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure has teamed up with CUC to give you the chance to win a home energy makeover worth up to $20,000. Not only will this lower your utility bills, it will increase your home's value. We are also giving away 8 home energy audits worth up to $1,900 each. Open to all homeowners in Grand Cayman. Entry is now open via www.energy.gov.ky/competition. Proudly sponsored by CEL Cooling, Mitsubishi, Phone Pros, Cooling Pros, and more. Use less, save more. Enter today.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I want to remind you our phone lines are open. They will be open for the remainder of the show until 10 o'clock this morning. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Other landlines, 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. One caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. Thank you for a good job, the good job that you're doing. And Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I called to agree with Dr. McField.
Mm-hmm.
Why should these guys reward themselves for jobs they're not doing? I mean, they're getting paid for the time they're working, like everybody else should be. I mean, I got nothing against somebody getting extras in whatever they do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Look, I worked 19 years And you know who it is.
Oh, yes, yes. And you did an excellent job, an excellent job.
Pension. You know, but I'm happy with it because I realized the country has to go on and people got to live. There's still poor people here that could stand a little extra, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to satisfy ourselves. And I mean, we just can't reward ourselves the way we want to. I mean, that's highway robbery as far as I'm concerned. They've been well paid for what they've been doing.
Yes.
And if they ran for election or re-election and failed, they got paid to the very end. So leave us with something, man. Don't try to take everything from us.
Yes, caller, I haven't really done the math on it yet, but if we consider the fact that we have 19 members of our parliament, and for argument's sake, if all 19 of them were not re-elected, or a combination of the 19 chose not to run and some not being elected, how much would we have to pay out in that 3-month period to those 19 elected members? Now, what I haven't been able to determine yet, because I haven't done as much research as I should have done on this, was that whether or not it is the base salary for members of parliament, or if it's the premier or the leader of the opposition or the speaker, whether or not they get that particular salary. I think what it's saying to us is that the politicians that we have in our parliament at this point in time see their work there as their occupation and a means of a livelihood rather than thinking about and acting on the livelihood of the people of the Cayman Islands.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the way I see it too. And they should have conscience. There are a lot of poor people here in the Cayman Islands that don't have a job. Even those who have a job, some of those jobs don't pay very much, and their salaries are very small. You can't take everything from people and expect they're not going to say something about it.
Yep.
I mean, anybody can do the job and sit there and collect money. And I'm not going to criticize just for the sake of criticism, but I mean there's districts here that haven't got anything from their representation, and now when they're going to take a chance and think that they're not sure how we're going to pay them.
Yes. So true. And one of the things that I think, like I've mentioned, that we have elections coming up in May of this year. And I think that is one of the questions that those sitting members of Parliament should be questioned about. And anyone who's putting themselves forward as candidates for a parliamentary seat should be questioned, and we should know what their views are in relation to this additional salary as well. And I think we have to bear in mind also, caller, that the monies, I believe that there's also an increase in the amount that members of the of Parliament will get for their offices as well. And I am not sure that they are required to give any official accounting for that money that they receive in terms of how it is spent. Now, I also want to be fair and balanced with this, and there are many members of Parliament who take a portion of their salary and assist individuals, families that they know are in financial problems. They don't necessarily talk publicly about it, but they do that. But there are answers to that as well. In some jurisdictions, there's something called a constituency development fund or a constituency fund, where elected members of Parliament are given monies to help in their constituencies, and that part they're accountable for. They have to give an account for it, and we could look at that option. This way, you're not forcing members to have to dip into their personal pockets to assist their constituents.
Right. But conscience should give us help those unfortunate ones.
Yes.
Not to take from them. And that's what we've been doing in the light of what you have explained before.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need that. Because, God knows that a lot has come into our country. In fact, it almost seemed like a gold mine was opened up to us in the last year or two, that we were able to have all kinds of money. I don't know, and I will say that I believe that government has taken good care of some of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know money that has been wasted that should not have been, such as the advertisement for the job, that we should have never thought of, in my opinion, should never thought about, because we have, without question, one of the greatest sea harbors in the world that would have only been, in my opinion, messed up if you had fooled around with dock.
Mm-hmm.
We need to take care of what God has given us and use it to the best of our ability, to the good of all our population, not some of us. Well, and we'll see, I won't keep you longer. I want to tell you I appreciate the job you're doing. You're doing a sterling job.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and all the best to you and your family. And it is really good to hear your voice again as well. You sound so young. You don't sound as if you have aged one day since you are retired.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Happy New Year and happy new SUV to you from Vance Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vance Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio this morning, so we will have an open line until 10 o'clock. Toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Other landlines 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us, For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. One of the things that I wanted to talk about this morning is some of the Caymanians that we have lost over the past few weeks. Of course, we lost the former parliamentarian, Brother John Jefferson Sr. as well. One of our listeners has written in and pointed out that two stalwarts from West Bay, a sister and a brother, passed away in the last few days. Mrs. Gay Bothwell, mother of Nana from the Legislative Assembly, now the Parliament, and Mr. Bud Banks, Jr., former seaman and entrepreneur. He also worked at CUC. They believe that he worked at CUC. He's the son of a former politician, Mr. Stafford, known as Staffy Banks, who was also a family member. And they pointed out that that passing took place. They also pointed out that the funeral of both Mrs. Gay Bothwell and Mr. Bud E. Banks was held on Saturday afternoon, and that it was well attended and also well organized. And the writer points out that it was the first time that they have attended a funeral that was held for two persons at the same time. So one funeral for two individuals. I'm not sure whether or not there's a terminology in the English language that is used for that. I'm sure I'll try to find that as well. And they wanted to point out that they may their soul rest in peace as well. So again, we did lose so many persons during the year 2020 and even in the beginning of 2021 as well. We haven't seen as much fatalities on the roads of the Cayman Islands, and that is good as well. I haven't looked at the statistics, or I haven't seen them yet for the year 2020 in terms of road statistics. But at the same time, we still need to do more to reduce the carnage on the roads of the Cayman Islands. We need to do more to keep pedestrians, cyclists, other users of motorized vehicles on the roads of the Cayman Islands. We need to keep everyone safe. Now, there are various methods of doing that. One of our callers spoke earlier about the fact that the government has been good handlers of the finances of the Cayman Islands, but they also point out that in some instances we have seen monies wasted as well. In my opinion, one of those areas that we have not seen value for money is in the area of traffic enforcement. And I say that, when I say that, what I mean basically is not necessarily using the human capital that we have in the form of police officers and traffic officers, but also using artificial intelligence, using technology to monitor, to record speeders on the roads of the Cayman Islands, to issue citations, issue tickets to them for reckless driving as well as speeding. Something that we were promised years ago, an area that we were told that financial investments had been made, but yet we are not seeing the fruits of those efforts. Where are we with that? We have to make the roads of the Cayman Islands much safer for all road users. Common sense tells us that if we increase the number of drivers on the roads of the Cayman Islands through new licensed drivers, and we know that that is happening because we know that members of various government departments have been redeployed during COVID-19 to administer driving tests to new drivers. That means that the demand is there. We know that the number of vehicles being imported into the Cayman Islands continue to rise. We know that there are vehicles sitting on various docks, Jamaica and elsewhere, waiting to be sent to the Cayman Islands. As those numbers increase, we can expect proportionate increase in the number of accidents that are going to take place, the number of speeders that are going to be on the road, the number of persons who will not be observing the rules of the road that are in place. And it needs to be enforced. So again, where is the fruit? Where are the fruits of our investment in this area? If someone has messed up on it, then tell us that the equipment that we have is not fit for purpose. That money basically has gone down the drain, and we can then decide where we go from there. But we need to know. We need to know because the roads of the Cayman Islands are no safer than they were before. Okay, we will have a guest in at 9 o'clock this morning. So, like I told you earlier, that we're going to be going until 10 o'clock with an open line. That will not be the case. We will have guests in the studio shortly. What else can I share with you during this period? I had so much to share with you. I wanted to look back in January of 19 of the various years to see what took place in the Cayman Islands. January the 6th of January 1966, for instance, the headlines in the Tradewinds newspaper, we had Nurse Clara Eden, whose house was removed. We also had members, Caymanians, who were granted honors by the Queen in 1966. Miss Annie Elizabeth Bush, Mr. Frederick Oliver Hill, Miss Beulah Smith, and Mr. Desmond Vere Watler, who was made an officer of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire Civil Division in 1966 as well. And if I do get an opportunity this morning, I will share some of that with you. We do have a caller. We're going to grab the caller before we go to our headline news at 9 o'clock and before we engage our guests. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, O.C.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm very thankful. O.C., I'm just calling because, I was looking at a prayer ad in the Cayman campus there for a post in DCA, compliance officer. Government is nothing short of private sector, because private sector advertise to create positions for those people who are not here, and the government is doing the same thing, because compliance for your trade and business license, where in God's creation do you need to have a college degree to become a compliance officer in respect of that? I mean, there's those of us who have policed the streets of these islands. I didn't have no college degree, but I did so with many, many, many successful prosecutions. And all you're simply doing as a compliance officer for DCA is to ensure that the individual or the company is compliant with regards to the regulatory functions of the trade and business license. That's basically what you're doing. And so when you see these ads that come out in the papers, and I'm calling out DCA because they're the ones that are notorious for this, it looks to me like they're preparing these positions for their friends or for someone to be brought in, because it is nonsensical to ask for those kind of degrees for someone to go around and make sure that someone has a sign up that someone paid their trade and business license. You don't need a college degree for that. And now you ask yourself a question: why is it that the young people coming out of school can't get a job? That answers your question right there. Especially, it is becoming more and more notorious in government. Everything you got to have a college degree with this amount of experience to get a job. How in the hell are you going to get young Caymanians to fill jobs if they got to have all of these credentials that obviously they don't have? So I think that someone has got to critique these applications that are being the credentials for these applications.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be done because I just sat there and I just smiled when I saw the ad. I mean, I just smiled. This is hand carved for somebody that this is for your friend. That's not me. That's not beat around the bush. It's for your friend. Stop advertising for your friend. Advertise in a fair and practical manner.
Mm-hmm.
That is what you have to do, and that is not happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rosie, thank you, and you have a good day, man.
Thank you very much. The caller has raised an extremely valid point in relation to it. Just as there should be truth in advertising in other ways, there should be truth in advertising when it comes to jobs as well. And the government needs to be the one who sets the example. As a matter of fact, over the period of a break, I've been hearing about several government departments that not only the public but civil servants have concerns about in terms of persons who have been placed in acting positions. Some reportedly for acting periods of 18 months. I thought that usually acting was normally for 6 months. And situations where persons have been trained for, say, for instance, facilities managers, and they're now in an acting position in the sports department where, while their expertise and their qualifications are in facilities management, but others have been placed in an acting position there as well. And we're probably going to hear more about that, if not on this show today, certainly during the coming shows as well. Folks, top of the hour, 9 o'clock news. When we return, we will have guests in the studio, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 199 COVID-19 tests on Friday. All came back negative. As of Friday, there were 1,193 people in isolation, and more than 1,000 people had received the COVID-19 vaccination. The Chief Medical Officer for England, Professor Chris Whitty, warns the next few weeks will be, quote, the worst of the pandemic for the NHS. He also says following the existing rules is more important than thinking of tightening them. Professor Whitty answered questions on the BBC as the UK suffers record numbers of cases and deaths. 7 mass vaccination centres have opened in England, with more sites to open later this week. About 2 million people have had the first dose of the COVID vaccine in England. Spain is racing to distribute vaccines to areas cut off by the weekend snowstorm before temperatures drop. A record number of small firms in the UK could close if government doesn't offer help, according to a business group. More than 1.9 million people have died, and 90 million infections have been marked worldwide, according to Johns Hopkins University. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. So it's almost as if I'm new to the show after 3 weeks. We did have guests this morning. I know we had other guests, and that date had been changed. And of course, next week, I believe, I'm certain we're going to have people from the elections office talking about registration for elections as well. But this morning, we're going to be talking about Mr. Horatio Esteban's show, the exhibition that is taking place at the National Gallery, and that conversation will take place with Mr. Esteban himself and also Mr. William Helfrich, who is from the National Gallery, and I'm going to ask Mr. Helfrich to introduce himself to us. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record. You have the distinction of appearing on the first show for 2021 for the Record as well.
Good morning, Auric. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us on the show. We were on Radio Cayman a while back, actually, about a week ago. We're here again because, now that it's a new year, we want to let people know about this exhibition at the National Gallery. It opened in December, but I think, over the Christmas period, people were busy celebrating with family, and I think now's a good time in a new year to come and see this exhibition. The exhibition is a solo exhibition of Horacio's work. Mm-hmm. It's his first full-scale exhibition at the National Gallery. Horacio had a show with us about 3 years ago on a smaller scale. So for us, this exhibition was really an opportunity to present, I wouldn't say the complete body of works of Horacio Esteban, but to really show his work on a more comprehensive scale to get local audiences excited about this amazing artist and the work he's been doing for many, many years. The exhibition is titled Alchemy, so that's something we can talk about, this title and the theme of the exhibition, the kind of ideas that we were playing with when we put it together. And also a chance for people to learn maybe the story of Horacio's life professionally and growing up in the BRAC, and there's lots of, every time you speak with Horacio, you learn something new about the man and his work.
Yes, Mr. Esteban.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
So, yes, the show has been on since December 3rd.
Okay.
And according to the National Gallery, it's been received quite well.
That's great.
So we're just basically here to encourage visitors to come out and absorb a little bit more of it. And it's going to be up until March 24th. So yeah, and we might also lead into a couple of speaking lectures and a couple of workshops before before it finishes. So yeah, it's beautiful. The crew, the gallery crew was amazing to work with. Setting up was almost like a dream. Watching the pieces go up and these guys unpack, and so it's been a lot of fun so far, and very pleased with the outcome, and people are purchasing, so that always helps to pay the bills and helps to solidify the arrival.
How many pieces of your work are actually being displayed?
We have quite a bit. It's probably in the neighborhood of about 60 pieces or more, maybe 65 pieces.
Yeah.
And it ranges from, the Caymanite stone sculpture to these sort of like fantastical pieces that were made out of a combination of our local cedar that is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 150, 175 years old. And I collect cedar that's kind of fallen already and that's not being utilized by our woodpeckers or our local parrot for nesting. Yes. Right. So if an old cedar tree is standing, I won't mess with it. If it's laying down on the ground and it's falling apart. So that's usually the target material. And then I've incorporated things like sea fans and gorgonians to create like insect wings and legs and eyes and just various aspects of some of these creatures. And the combinations come together quite well. I'm surprised as to how well it represents the end product. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Now, Mr. Helfrich, he spoke about sales as well. And how does that work if a piece is being displayed? I know once I went to a bike show in Las Vegas, Interbike, and I saw a bike there. It was on display, and I spoke to the manager of that particular section, and he said, well, I'll be prepared to discuss selling it, but it has to be after the show is over.
Yes.
How does it work, at the National Gallery if there's an interest in a piece that's on display?
So, as a government statutory authority, we don't get involved in the actual buying and selling of works.
Okay.
But having said that, we offer a platform for an artist such as Horacio to sell his work to the public. So once an exhibition has been installed, just like you were saying in that instance, the work has to be on display until the end of the exhibition. So that's kind of understood, because obviously if you took a piece out, especially some of these, we'd have a big hole on our big empty white wall.
Of course, you could always have something else to replace it with, and when that goes, then you replace it.
They have given me that option. There's been a few sales where I've replaced the piece and people have actually taken them. So they've been very...
But I think for the integrity of the exhibition, it's also... we'll talk about this perhaps, but the exhibition as a whole, this concept, the works are really part of a larger, wouldn't you say, Horacio?
Story,
a larger story that I think each piece tells a part of that story, but we've also, the way the exhibition is installed, it's very immersive. It's like you're walking into this fantastical environment, and hence, as I said, with the title of the exhibition, Alchemy. So we chose this word, which is familiar to some, this concept of transformation, of taking a base element, a natural element, or a base metal and turning it into gold, or in Horacio's case, turning it into a work of art, turning these raw materials that he works with into something beautiful, something wonderful. And so as you walk around this exhibition, the way we've installed the works, it's really like we wanted to take the viewer on a journey, to enter this world, to see the world through the eyes of one of Cayman's greatest sculptors, greatest artists, and to almost re-inhabit that state of being a child again, of being curious, of looking around at our beautiful natural environment and tapping into that memory of what it felt like as a child to see, a flock of parrots or see incredible sea creatures, as Horacio spent a lot of his time in the BRAC, and these animals that he creates. Some of them you can recognize quite clearly. Oh, that's a whistling duck, or that's a that's a parrot, or that's one of his most distinctive pieces is actually in the National Collection, and it's an oversized crocodile. It's actually a Cayman seagoing crocodile, which we haven't had for many hundreds of years, probably thankfully. So with that in mind, the whole spirit of the exhibition is very playful. It's very accessible. It's something that children can engage with, but also adults just admiring the kind of craftsmanship that goes into these works.
Okay, we do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning to everybody in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Especially to the artists.
Hey, thank you.
As you have such a long exhibition, I will get there. And I've been really, 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 really hungry to just look at something from your hands and your mind and everything else. And we really don't know how blessed we are to have you in our midst. But again, thank you, and blessings to the family for the new year.
Thank you. Same to you.
And of course, I know you don't know who you talk to.
Yes, I do.
You actually do.
Yes.
I come in there, but I can get there. I hope I get there on a day that you are there, but
let me know when you're going, and I'll meet you there.
I'll come. I'm coming out. And when I heard in March, I said, "Oh yes, I got
you have time.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you as well. Okay, Mr. Horacio.
Yeah. The show has been a little bit challenging because, it took almost 2 years for us to put this together.
Wow.
And we didn't get a date until maybe 8-9 months into it. So I sort of I'm always prepared for an exhibition because of my approach to creating art. My spare time is spent trying to come up with new concepts, trying to come up with new materials, trying to do something a little different. So I'm always creating a new piece here and there and have the ability to kind of store it away until the opportunity comes up. Mm-hmm. And what I find myself in a situation quite often where people would want to purchase a gift, an artistic gift, and they'll call me up and go, "Hey, you got anything?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, what are you thinking?" So the conversation will start like that. So I've learned a little while back that it's good to be ready and have an inventory that I can, refer to when people are interested in inquiring, and it doesn't keep me. It's a lot less stressful from having to see every single piece as a commission. However, there are cases where people would come and go, "Yeah, I don't want a capboard. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I'm thinking something along these lines." So then that'll sort of drive me towards the workbench to create something specific based on that person's vision of what it is they want to give away or purchase.
And you do have it. So you do have all of your works cataloged. So if someone called up and said, "Well, I would like something in this area."
The pieces that are in the National Gallery right now on exhibit, yes, we haven't produced an official catalog yet because the exhibition is quite long and it started in our holiday period, so a lot of people are not around to assist with that. But that's on its way, hopefully before the completion of the show. But yeah, even with some of the inventory that I keep personally, I have cataloged just so that I'll know where to put my hands on something, in an expedient manner when someone's interested. So yeah, it's no different than a regular job, with the exception that you need to be a little bit self-driven and persistent and then, stay
and
creative.
Passionate too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Mr. Horacio Esteban, our renowned Caymanian artist, and Mr. William Helfrich from the Cayman Islands National Gallery will continue after this short commercial break. So please stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Happy New Year and Happy New SUV to you from Vant Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vant Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking to Mr. Horacio Esteban, who's a renowned Cayman artist. Also in the studio with me, Mr. William Helfrich, who is from the National Gallery. Mr. Esteban's exhibition taking place at the National Gallery started in December, runs until March. Such a great opportunity for you to see the works, his works, but also to meet Mr. Esteban as well. We know the famous artists, the Rembrandts and the Picassos and all of those other persons. We talk about them now, but not many people would have had the opportunity to say, I met them. I was able to see their works in person. Here in the Cayman Islands, we have the opportunity to do that as well. Not only that, but to celebrate him while he's alive, rather than celebrating his works when he has passed on. Back over to you, gentlemen.
I liked that analogy you made. Some famous names there, but I would probably say maybe Bendel Hydes is our Picasso and Horacio is our Michelangelo. I think that's what a board member of ours, Carl Brown, described him.
Great.
As. And I think what you mentioned there, Horacio has been very involved in this process. So there are some artists who are quite hands-off with their work. They're content with perhaps a gallery just saying, okay, well, we're going to install your paintings. The exhibition opens on this date. They turn up to the opening evening. But that's not the case with Horacio. And the National Gallery, being a small team, we work very collaboratively with the artists to realize their vision and to, where we can, to help help shape that vision or direct it. This exhibition in particular, there was actually 3 of us curating it. So we had our director, Natalie Urquhart, myself, and Carrie Ann Chisholm, who's a young curator, former colleague of ours who came back to help us with this show. So there were a lot of hands involved in this project. We also had sponsorship, which is very important, especially over this past year. So OGA and Davenport Development both contributed to this exhibition, and also the Ministry of Culture that has given us ongoing support for a long time and has really stepped up to help us in this critical time. And so once the exhibition had kind of come together, the idea for it, I wanted to maybe go back and Horacio, you could tell the listeners about how you maybe reacted to this idea and how you felt that did it enhance your work, or do you feel that a curator or a gallery in a museum, is it something that you were wary of it perhaps being a distraction or perhaps interfering with your creative vision, or do you think it enhanced it in the end?
Absolutely enhanced it. I came into this without any other expectation than it just being an exhibit. I didn't have a clear outline of how I wanted it to be exhibited. I just knew that the National Gallery had these nice, beautiful blank white walls, and my work could be plastered on it somewhere or shape or form. And I was grateful just for that opportunity alone. So Will actually came to my residence, and there we sort of like pulled out a whole bunch of stuff, and he did this beautiful write-up about this explorer, and the best way to capture my work would be using this particular angle where it was more interactive, and I loved it. It made me seem like this huge universal artist, not even international. But I still didn't grab the concept that he was referencing. And then later on, we met at the gallery to further expand on the exhibit, and that's when the theme of this explorer perspective came up, and it was where we would start at a particular point and sort of direct the viewers through the exhibit, and I felt kind of weird because normally we're just taking an individual's work and we're sort of like categorizing it into specific categories and then mounting those categories on a wall as such. So with this theme idea and the walkthrough, I looked at him and I go, so how is this going to impact the diversity of my creations? He goes, don't worry about it, we got it. So it was like, okay, sure, you got it, you guys, this is what you guys do. So I kind of relaxed and I gave them full autonomy to do what they thought was best. And then later on, during the process, after a lot of the items were delivered, and Will and Carrie Ann and Natalie are kind of going through the boxes and pulling things out and having them specifically set out for a certain area to be installed. And I left for a little while to get some food or to go get a couple of additional pieces. When I came back, things were already on the wall. So as I walked into the gallery, it was this shock because I didn't imagine seeing what they had done.
That in itself was a work of art. Huh?
Yes. So I almost started to pinch myself, and out loud I even said to them guys a couple times, who is this exhibition for? Because I felt so removed from it. But even though I was still connected to the pieces that were going on the wall, it was almost as if I was a volunteer, kind of like just delivering these pieces of work. So it was a pretty interesting experience to see it, come to life. And yeah, thank you guys. It was great.
Okay.
Well, just to add to that, I think there's also, when you walk in, the first thing you'll see is the title wall, and you'll see Horacio's name emblazoned on the wall. And so it's really, this is a culmination. It's a celebration of the work he's done for many years. I think it's very prestigious, to have an exhibition like this at the National Gallery.
It is.
And it's not offered to all of our artists immediately. It's something you strive and work towards. We have featured a number of Cayman's most prominent artists but to have a solo exhibition is quite an accomplishment. So
Thank you.
I want to congratulate Horacio. The fact that he's a prolific artist, and over the past year, when a lot of people had to struggle through the lockdown, for artists, from what I've heard, the artists that we speak to, in a way it was kind of a mixed blessing, because they had this time suddenly to work, unobstructed, to have a period of time to really focus. And Horacio was incredibly prolific. So a lot of these pieces were actually made last year. It was incredibly
2020.
incredible sort of output that he was able to produce.
Excellent. We do have another caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, too, and to your guest. Am I on the air?
Yes, you are.
I wanted to congratulate and wish Esteban the best of everything. It's been a pleasure working with him for 16 years. And on the 16th of January, Esteban, we're celebrating us together. Happy New Year.
Same to you, darling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, caller's gone. Okay, that was nice.
That's nice. Yes. It's. I'm honored, man. It's an amazing honor,
and it's not over yet.
Yeah. Any specials in terms of schools will be open soon as well.
Absolutely.
As far as the public is concerned, the offerings that you have on the table?
Of course. In fact, this past weekend, we had a family fun day on Saturday where parents and young children were invited to come and see the exhibition. And that's very typical of the type of programming we do. As you know, the National Gallery is very, very focused on education, because it's about teaching the next generation, being inspired by a practicing artist. So in the works, we've got a number of school visits. In fact, schools can come and make an appointment. It's all free. As you know, we've never charged an admission charge. We continue to offer free admission, so we welcome donations. But free admission is a real cornerstone of the National Gallery's mission. And by the same token, school tours, we've had great response. I think a lot of school children and schools have missed, these sort of opportunities, and so there's a real eagerness for schools to come and see this exhibit. We've had a very positive response. Schools can get in touch with our education department. That's education@nationalgallery.org.ky, and we will facilitate tours. We'll have free guided tours, and also, depending on the age group, there are activities. We have worksheets, all kinds of materials to, as we said at the beginning, to make this more of an interactive experience. So we won't just be passively leading these kids around the space. There'll be games and activities to sort of get their imaginations firing.
Excellent. Okay. I want to give both of you an opportunity for some closing comments and anything that you want to say to our audience in terms of, again, encouraging them to come out, encouraging them to participate. We've heard so far that Mr. Horacio pointed out that feedback that he's getting from the National Gallery is that it has been, well attended so far. The turnout has been great, and we want that to continue as well.
Thanks to the general public for coming out. There's still a lot of time left, and there's nothing wrong with visiting once or twice, or more often. It's new every time, even for me. That's hands on, and I want to personally thank the sponsors and National Gallery staff and team for assisting to make this a reality. Friends, family, even my mom that's probably listening on Cameron Brock. She kind of said, "You didn't mention me the last time." So, hi, Mom. I love you. Thank you for everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Will.
I would re-echo what Horacio said. Where for those who are not familiar, we're open Mondays to Saturdays at the National Gallery, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. No admission charge. Right. We love seeing visitors come in. The more the merrier. This is a show for everyone. It's very accessible. It's very relatable. I think it's a celebration of both Horacio as an individual, but also of commanding culture, of our environment. There are lots of touch points where people can engage with this story. We talked about school children, talking about the environment, the importance of protecting the environment, talking about natural materials, Caymanite, cedar. So it's really a wonderful start to the year for us in terms of our exhibition program. And as I said, it runs until the 24th of March.
Okay. Now, we know because of COVID-19 and travel restrictions, there's limited benefit that you can get from an international market. How do you go about addressing that? Is there any possibility that at some point in time that you could have a repeat of this exhibition, or is it unusual in the art world to have repeats?
Well, we try and find other avenues to share work. And one of the things that we've done over the past year at the National Gallery is think about preserving the work that we do for posterity. And of course, nowadays, a lot of that is done digitally. Yes. So all of our major exhibitions, our main exhibitions that happen in our lower exhibition hall, are now being filmed in these three-dimensional virtual tours. So what that means is long after this show is closed, you'll be able to go onto our website, and there's virtual tours there. You can actually, it's as if you're there, really, or the next closest thing. You can see our exhibitions, walk through the space. Even when you go on these virtual tours, you can click on the label, the wall label that was there, and read about each individual work. We also took the opportunity to put the entire National Collection online, so digitally, including Horacio's work that's in the National Collection. So now international visitors can come to our website, see and read about our artists. And we had a lot, although our obviously foot traffic was much lower, as you'd expect during the lockdown. Our web traffic, the number of click-throughs and people coming to our website was exponentially higher. So we're able to reach a lot of people through those other channels. And I think that's only going to benefit our artists as we get more and more visibility internationally through our web platform, social media, and things of that nature.
Okay, well, we want to wish Mr. Esteban all the best, and of course the National Gallery, as well. And I want to thank you for all the work that you do. We know, for instance, that many government departments and individuals, when they're thinking about gifts for either visiting dignitaries or when they're traveling overseas to an event, they crave for the work of Horacio Esteban to take, with them as a memento from the Cayman Islands, and that is good as well.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Extremely popular.
Yes, very important.
Okay. Folks, please stay tuned. We're going to have an open line when we return. Again, don't change that dial. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Does 2020 have you thinking about making some changes in your life? Maybe you're considering a new job or career, or going back to school, taking a short course, perhaps starting your own business. Skills for Life can help. Skills for Life is a government initiative that highlights various training and learning opportunities available for Caymanians to retool, upskill, advance, and access what you need to succeed in the workplace. Want more information? Visit our website, gov.ky/skills for life today.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 25 minutes left to go in the first show of For the Record for the year 2021. Any callers on hold, Miss Susan? No callers on hold. You heard me earlier talk about the Tradewinds newspaper, and I think it was the 6th of January, 1966, and we spoke about those persons who were recognized by the Queen and given awards as well. One of the names that I mentioned then was the name of Mr. Desmond Vere Watler, who received the order MBE, I think it was at that time, MBE, OB, I'll double check with that. But also on the 21st of January, 1965, Mr. Desmond Vere Watler was also elevated to take over a new position within government. So we saw 1 month he took over the position, 1 year. The next year he was awarded with the Queen's Award. Normally in government, when you get those awards, it's usually when they're getting ready to retire you, but in this case, they didn't. And I just want to read you basically an article about Mr. Desmond Vere Watler, and the photograph shows Mr. Desmond, the newly appointed assistant administrator, at work in his office, and he was assisted at that time by Miss Emma Jean Martinez, who is now Miss Emma Jean DaCosta. Desmond Vere Watler takes over office. Mr. Desmond Vere Watler was born in Grand Cayman in 1914, a son of the late Mr. and Mrs. W. Cornwell Watler. He was educated at Calabar High School, Kingston, Jamaica, obtained the Cambridge School Certificate. 1937, he entered the civil service as a clerical officer and has, through the years, held the position of competent authority, 1943 to 1945. Not sure what that position meant at that time. Controller of Treasury, Customs, and Post Office, Deputy Treasurer and Treasurer. In 1948, he was married to Miss Wilma Ryder of Kalamazoo, Michigan, who was teaching at Triple C, and they have one son, Billy. Mr. Desmond is happiest with statistics, accounting, and financial matters, and thus brings this valuable asset to his new appointment. He is interested in gardening and is an elder and keen worker at the Georgetown Presbyterian Church. So there's an insight into the life of Mr. Desmond Vere Watler, and he was being celebrated in the Tradewinds newspaper Thursday, the 21st of January, 1965. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir, again.
Good morning again. How art thou?
I'll be well soon. Court what committee does. Court what the committee does. But listen, I want to talk about your vaccine.
Okay.
Hopefully nothing controversial.
Okay.
And my backstory is that I'm as unsure as I can be about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't trust people. But you got to take a chance. Everything in life, so that's where I am. I don't want to be controversial.
Sure.
My vaccine story is not really that. My vaccine story is the front page. And on the front page, I mean, even though we live in 2021, when you make the front page, it's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, did you see the Compass front page? I couldn't even look for the date.
No, tell me about it. Refresh.
I'm talking about my premier.
Okay.
Sitting receiving the vaccine.
Yes. Leadership by example.
Guns exposed. Leadership by example. I know you would find that kind of application, but guns exposed.
Mm.
Looking very pleased. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, how to get right on the phone and tell somebody you need a copy, so when you get a copy for yourself, you buy one for me.
Okay.
Oh, no, we got to keep that one.
Yes, yeah. And of course, we don't have a cure for COVID-19. We were extremely successful in the Cayman Islands when we followed the advice of the experts. We used the face masks. We had alternate days for people to go shopping. We had curfews that were basically enforced and in many cases adhered to. We did have some curfew breakers, and those were addressed as well. Of course, the recent quarantine breaker that we had that made not only local headlines but international headlines, at least, well, if you want to call the United States, international to a certain extent, but more so in the United States, that we had to deal with, as well. And I know that you have opinions, in relation to that also.
Yeah, but we can't. That's a moot point. No.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that they were going back home and they were going to the who they were going to? The president?
Well,
somebody suggested State Department.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, that's a moot point.
Yes,
that is a moot point. I want to talk about my front page.
Go ahead. Talk about it. Talk.
No, all I can say is meow meow. But, oh my gosh. But, when you get to the committee stage, what you got to do, I'll pick your brains again, because it's something else. But as far as our situation here in Cayman, we should really strive. I mean, off talking foolishness now, we should really strive to maintain our status, and we should really strive to be where we are. That includes opening borders. We should really sit down and look at what we have in place as penalties for people who create breaches. I mean, that's not like walking out on the street and you fall down and you cross the line when you fall.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's going up to the line and doing what you want to do, in my humble opinion. And I continue to talk and say that we need to have some sort of surety left, a surety that means something, because I don't know why we can't get away from the 10,000 and the 5,000 and the 2,000. No, you put $25,000 down there, because I believe whatever my government engages in, they should come out on the top when it comes to financial matters. You put down $25,000 right there, and when you breach, just like the bail bond, it's gone and you're not even got to court yet. Or that's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
When we open our borders, we should open them knowing that we have these kinds of people here. And the only good thing could have come out of those earlier breaches is that we understand that humanity has the capacity to be that vicious, that killing.
Should we require persons to be vaccinated before we allow them to travel to the Cayman Islands? If they're non-resident, non-Caymanian?
Well, sir, in my humble opinion, that's a date and time certain when that will be the policy of the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
So as to whether we want to say that, we did it first, because I like when Cayman can say we did it first,
yes,
or not, but I am sure that this is working toward that policy. And nobody is going to break protocol unless it would be us, because, we can't, I don't know. Let's not go down that road. But I'm sure this is working toward a date and time, and I'm sure that the people who run this world already know what that date and time is, when their policy shall be international, as an international covenant, that you won't leave your little area unless and until And then maybe in the countries themselves will be on board to say, well, you won't leave your yard unless and until. That's where this is going, in my humble opinion.
Got you.
Yeah, but committee meeting.
Okay, my dear, got to take a commercial break. We do have another caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return from the commercial break. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
No, man. My bill seem huge again, and I don't know what to do about it. I gotta look some help.
We can help. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure has teamed up with CUC to give you the chance to win a home energy makeover worth up to $20,000. Not only will this lower your utility bills, it will increase your home's value. We are also giving away 8 home energy audits worth up to $1,900 each. Open to all homeowners in Grand Cayman. Entry is now open via www.energy.gov.ky/competition. Proudly sponsored by CEL Cooling, Mitsubishi, Foam Pros, Cooling Pros, and more. Use less, save more. Enter today. Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years, ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. We do have a caller. Before I go to the caller, though, one of our listeners has written in, and maybe our caller may want to opine on this also. A person says, how much is our coat of arms worth? Is it enough to be put on a Coke can? Certainly not. This can only happen in Cayman, where the Coke was made. That country never attempted to do so, or to do anything of such importance to carry down the worth of their symbol. Why are people silent on this? I would just opine and say that the coat of arms for commercial purposes is allowed. Of course, it has to be approved by cabinet, but it is allowed. And there are some who view it as a great exposure for the Cayman Islands, and there are some people who believe that it is something that many other countries would love to see happen, to give them that exposure as well, while persons like the writer feel that our coat of arms is such a sacred symbol that it should not be used for commercial purposes, if I interpret what they're saying correctly as well. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, sir, and a Happy New Year to you.
Good morning. Nice to hear your voice.
Good to hear you back.
Thank you.
On, sir. Good to hear you back on. And your unbiased opinion is very, very valued. Yes, everybody has their bias. We know that. There's no unbiased human being, even judges.
Yep.
I'd like to say, I don't know if anyone has called in yet, but happy birthday to my cousin, Captain Paul Hurlston.
Oh, no one has called in, and thank you for reminding us.
On a special day. I think you probably know how old he is today. I won't say, but I know his age.
Okay.
And happy birthday to that wonderful seaman. With the coat of arms, as you quite rightly said, it helps to make it popular and known, and it does give good exposure. So, yes, you'll always have the both sides of the coin with this issue, as well as most things. And with the vaccine, again, we'll see that with people. And I'm quite pleased to hear you supporting it. And the Premier, I'm very, very thankful what he did. I know His Excellency and Minister Seymour and so forth, and all the others who have encouraged it. And as the Premier said, and as you were saying, it's quite possible, and at least refer to that also, that in the near future you will not be able to travel to most countries without being vaccinated. I know, OC, you're old enough to remember when you had to have that little vaccination card. It was about maybe 6 or 5 inches by 4 inches, a little grey card that showed you had your vaccines.
Yes, sir.
Years ago, measles, your rubella, your smallpox, and other things, diphtheria, and all kinds of things. You had to have that vaccination card before you bought an airline ticket. So this is just nothing new really about this, and our dependence, as you said, on vaccinations goes back over 200 years.
Yep.
So we have to have that belief, and as that lady was saying, chance. Life is a chance. There's a chance of you walking across the road many times, as poor Mr. Arthur did, and one time you might get killed by a vehicle. But that's a rarity, and if you live life with that, you'd never cross the road. It's curious to see that, we have to be careful how we go about going for Wilkes, going for conch, going for lobster, going for groupers now. Everything has been placed on endangered and a ban list and so forth. Now we have to watch out for how we pull bush, because we might pull the wrong bush. There's some long fancy name thing. I can't remember the name, and I'm not going to try to do that. And I think, we're going from the sublime to the ridiculous with this kind of thing. And if we keep up with this, everybody who comes here with some professional qualification can say what we're doing here is outdated and backward, and we need to put this on endangered and save this and save that. We have to be realistic. And we lived this long, I imagine, with that bush around us. And I never heard of it, never knew we had any endangered bush. Anyhow,
what we do, what we have lost there, caller, is the value of the local species that we have. And in many cases, they were used locally for medicinal purposes, and we have lost a lot of that information. We have lost a lot of that expertise. There were older people who could tell you what a particular bush could be used for, and that we really need to retain as much of that as possible. And we need to move away from importing local vegetation and stick to the indigenous vegetation that we have. You tell me how many people have a rosemary tree in their yard that we used to use to make brooms. How many people have a breadfruit tree in their yard. Not many people have coconut trees in their yard. They have to go to the supermarket and buy coconuts. How many people have a tamarind tree in their yard? Those are the things we still need to retain.
Many people even bother. We have tamarind there at Pedro dropping off the trees, but it's thousands and thousands. Anyhow, the thing is with us, I'm so pleased with the way the government has reacted to all the pandemic and the many issues, and slowly, patiently, if you want to use the term professionally, putting these different things into place. It's painstaking, and it takes a lot of research and thought and sleepless nights, as the Premier has alluded to. And I must commend him and the government, or political arm of Her Majesty's government, which we control in Cayman, and for the wonderful, sterling job. Everyone will find something to criticize about. We know that. And we notice that most of the upcoming would-be's or wannabes to be elected, they mostly have one thing in common, listening to them on the radio, is their united dislike for the Premier. That's all but they actually offer no sort of alternative. But that is what unites them, and people should be wary of falling for that trap. You know, change is good sometimes, but sometimes change isn't so good either at all. I'm not trying to influence anyone's opinion, but years of living has taught me to be very careful of that word, change. Very, very careful. I'd like to say that I think they're doing a sterling job. We know we open our borders sometime as soon as we can and carefully. On the plan I see that the Premier has put forward, yes, there'll be little adjustments, little hiccups. I think that is workable, and we have to be careful that we don't lock out everybody, but we try to accommodate all who would like to come here and so forth. But I think we have to get behind our elected representatives as far as that incident.
Certainly. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. Again, thanks for your contribution during the past year, and we look forward to more of it during this year as well. One of our listeners has pointed out that their father is in his upper 80s, and he definitely is going to be getting the vaccine, and that they're encouraging all to take the vaccine as well. One of the things that I wanted to share with you this morning in relation to January of any particular year, in January 1967, the 12th of January, there was an article in the Tradewinds newspaper about the BRAC being publicized, and it speaks about the visit of an article that was written by a Dr. C.P. Idil, who visited the islands by the invitation of Captain Keith Parker Tibbets and Mr. J.A. Ryan. Captain Tibbets and Mr. Ryan had attended an annual convention of the foundation, and on this visit to Miami, Florida in 1965, they met Dr. Idil, who visited because of their invitation, and glowing remarks of the island in a portion of an article after naming and describing the shorelines of the many places over the world. Dr. Idil wrote, "None of these is as strange or fascinating as the iron shore of Cayman Brac." Further on, in speaking of coral rocks, Dr. Idil has this to chip in, quote, "The roads are made a nightmare for automobile tires by the sharp edges. A very beautiful description of the island is given in the following paragraph. Of the three islands, Cayman Brac is the most remarkable, chiefly because of a looming cliff that perches like a tilted wedge over the greater part of the island. At the eastern end, the cliff drops sheer into the sea from a height of 130 feet. It slopes down to the west so that the last couple of miles of this land are flat. This wedge of limestone gives the island the name Brac, meaning cliff in Gaelic. And I will share more of this article with you at a future date as well, because it also talks about the turtle catching in Cayman Brac as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman, as well as For the Record, which pledges to serve as a platform for you to express your views, and also as a platform to provide you with valuable information, in particular about how our country is governed as well. So I say to you, have a great day. Support your radio station. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by